Been running around in the woods looking for a piece of wood that we can turn on the lathe. Well, this piece came from West Africa. It's zebrawood. I've never really turned this before, so I'm going to give it a go today. Looking at the grain structure, it's pretty well wide, and I've got pretty close to the pith on this part of the wood. If you can see here on the end grain, it's not a bright piece of wood to turn with. It's 2 inches thick, and we're talking 9 by 9 square. Got a shallow bowl. Let's see how we go. Slap it on the lathe. Step 1, let's make it round. So get a nice circle, take up as much of the maximum area as you can. Gotta be honest, it was pretty hard cutting this wood on the bandsaw. Could be that my blade's dull. I haven't changed it for a few weeks now, but it was relatively hard. And it's heavy, and it's not to say that it's got any moisture content. I put the meter on it, it's less than 8%, so it's hard. Very hard wood. So let's see how we go with this. So I see why they call this zebrawood, obviously. I've got a tenon cut on the bottom there. It's hollowed out a little bit so that I've got some sort of meat to grip hold of on the small truck that I'm going to be using. And I've kind of started to round out the outside of the bowl. The grain's tearing out extremely badly, so I don't know how this is going to work out, to be honest. I've sharpened the tools. Every time I take a cut, it still tears out. Gonna see how she goes. Yes, it's extremely hard, and you can see the grain pattern going across here. A bit of a pith. I'm not really sure what's going on there, but it's definitely fighting the bowl gouge. Now I've got an Ellsworth long grind on here, so I can do both ways, from the centre and from the outside in. So I kind of get better cuts going from the outside in, and then using this to hollow out the depth. So it's pretty well rough from here, and then a finishing cut from here. The outside has come up really well, so I'm going to keep on going. You can see here the tear out as I'm getting in through a pretty violent attack on the main meat of this bowl. I never really worry about the tear out here until we get down to about the last 16th or 1/8 of an inch. And I usually go in with not my 5/8 bowl gouge, but my smaller one, the 1/2 inch, super sharp. But I've been keeping this super sharp all the way through the exercise because this wood is extremely hard. It's like iron. But yeah, so the final cuts are going to be with a small bowl gouge. Just watch me. Now the cardinal rule is this: never revisit the rim after you've taken it down to the depth that you've been aiming for. In other words, the rim here is very, very thin. It's about 3/16 of an inch, but the bottom of this bowl is thinner than that. It's probably 1/8 of an inch here. So we've got a bit of a flex. I don't know why I keep doing this myself, making it thinner and thinner until it goes right through. This bowl hasn't gone right through, but it's not far off. I've really got to sand this back now. Got a sanding job and a half. It may not come back as nice as I wanted it to be. Got a giant sized chip here because using the scraper on the bottom, it just caught and took a chunk out. That doesn't matter, bit of sawdust, we'll fix that up and you won't even notice it. But yeah, if you guys are turning out there and you do what I do, and you cut to the sharpest edge and you go that a little bit too far, and you end up with this. Now this is accentuated, of course, because this bowl or this wood is extremely dry and very, very, very hard. So putting the bowl gouge on the rim here after it's been to that depth is a real bad mistake. I've got quite a lot of tool marks I've got to take out here, and the only way with that is just the sanding. So I won't bore you with the sanding. I'll go in with the sanding, get it finished, get up to about 320, 400 grit, and I'll come back to you guys. Well, it's more than enough sanding I'd like to do this year. It took a while. We got rid of all the tool marks and filled up the little ding that was up on the edge here. The end grain sanding marks are still there, but they're going to come out with the next phase, which is standing sealer and some Acks abrasive paste. Acks paste and Acks crystalline polish is about all I'm going to have on this bowl, because I don't know, the sheen is quite nice. It's not a shiny, but it's a matte sheen, and I like it. Okay, so now on the back, we've got to remove this beast. I'm certainly not going to get rid of the total amount, because the bottom is only around about 1/4 of an inch or even 3/16 convex shape with the actual foot. I did start out with, if you look at it closely there, yeah, so you can see it's hollowed out here to allow for the depth of the foot. In hindsight, I should have put a glue stock on the bottom of that. Would have saved the whole bottom of the bowl. But shoulda, woulda, coulda, eh? Onwards. So I got this foam coated wooden pressure chuck. I'm going to press the bowl against this foam here with the tailstock to take off the foot. Slap that on there and pinned up with the tailstock. Now you can see here I've got a concave shape on the bottom here, and I've left probably another 1/4 inch in addition to the 1/4 inch of the bottom of the bowl just for the maker's badge. I'm just going to stop the lathe here at a moment, and looking at the bottom of this bowl, she's still pretty rough. I'm going to be very careful because the bottom of this bowl is very thin. I'm going to come in very nicely to smooth that out and meet up with this concave shape. Finally take this to the drill press, cut in a 1/4 and a bit 1 inch for the maker's back on the bottom, sand, and she should be close to being done. Yeah, she's got a bit of a wobble on the bottom here. Really can't go in too far with this. Again, it could be another pleasurable exercise of using the sanding pads. I know you can hear that in my voice, but rather that than going through the bottom of the bowl. As I said, I keep pushing myself to get a thinner bowl. I don't know why we do this, guys. I mean, having a thick edge can be just as pleasing as something as thin as this. But I'll tell you what, the dryness of this wood, the hardness of this wood, it's certainly not going to go overlised, and it certainly won't crack. It's a beautiful piece of wood. So on the positive side, she's looking good. Onwards. Foot's all but complete now, with just a little bit of a hole, hopefully not going through the entire bottom, for the maker's badge. A little of medium CA glue on the bottom. Score the bottom of the maker's badge. It's made out of brass, and I spray usually the CA fixer, and once the two meet together, then of course it all sits in place. Nice little bit of a pressure fit, and then it'll set off nicely. So this is the Zebrawood bowl. Fairly shallow. It's just under 2 inches in depth. Concave bottom, as we've seen with the maker's badge on the foot. Looked out pretty well in the end. There was no tool marks on the bottom or inside the bottom. Actually, all the tool marks were removed, but it took a heck of a lot of sanding, I can tell you. So the grain structure is really nice, and the colouring is beautiful. So West Coast Africa Zebrawood turned out really, really nice. The little nick that I had in the top here was repaired. I can't even find it myself. Mind you, got to be wearing glasses to see anything nowadays. Oh, here we go. So there's the nick on the side. I mean, you can see that close up in the camera, and on the inside of the bowl too. Just got to point out the features. yeah, I mean, that's like a handy little bowl for whatever's on the sideboard table or on the table. Looks good. I'm fairly pleased with that, actually, from the end of the show. Guys, thank you very much for joining me this week, and we're going to be meeting again next week. See you then. Cheers.